So yes, welcome once again. It's really great to see so many of you here today. My name is Joshua Quake, and I'm a Southeast Asian reference specialist at the Asian Division of the Library of Congress. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone who has come to the library today to celebrate 75 years of Indonesia-United States diplomatic relations. So on this auspicious occasion, it's a great pleasure to have with us our esteemed guests of honor, Chargé d'Affaires Ida Bagusman Dewi Mantara, Director Sarah Matthews from the United States Department of State, and thank you for taking time to commemorate an important milestone in Indonesia-U.S. relations with us. So today's event, sponsored by the Asian Division in collaboration with the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia, features an exhibit of Indonesian collection items at the Library of Congress to let guests explore the Indonesia-U.S. relationship. On display will be rare manuscripts, current acquisitions, and pictorial works that highlight the library's extensive Indonesian collection and show the role it has played and continues to play in providing access to engaging with Indonesia in the United States. Before the exhibit, we'll hear some opening remarks from our guests of honor and also the Director of the Library of Congress General and International Collections Directorate, Dr. Eugene Flanagan.
Thank you very much. It's great to be in the room with everybody today. Apologies, I didn't get the memo about the dress code. Half the room looks terrific. Not that the other half doesn't either, but the black suit on a sort of muggy DC day is not ideal, so I'm sort of filled with admiration on a number of fronts. As mentioned, Eugene Flanagan, it's my great privilege to oversee programs here at the Library of Congress, including the international sort of collections and services. So I'm sort of doubly honored to be part of the program today. Hopefully not going to do sort of too much overlap in terms of background, because I'd like to sort of share with you some little bit about the library sort of directly and as context for today's program. So let me just share what you may already know. Diplomatic relations between the United States and Indonesia were established on December 28th, 1949, when the U.S. Ambassador H. Merle Cochran presented his credentials and a message of congratulations on Indonesian independence from President Harry S. Truman to President Sukarno of Indonesia. And today, June 6th, 2024, we're gathered at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. to mark the 75th anniversary of this relationship. As host today, we're delighted to welcome all in the room and online, and I'm also happy to acknowledge and welcome the participation of our special guests today, and you'll be hearing from both shortly. And I have no doubt they both will speak far more knowledgeably about the relationship than I ever could. So again, I'd like to set the stage by speaking a little bit about the library itself and how it shapes and has been shaped by our relationship with Indonesia. One can think of the Library of Congress, conceptually at any rate, as three libraries in one. We're a national library, the de facto national library of the United States of America. We're 224 years old. So as well as operating in the here and now, we also have a commitment to posterity and future generations, and hopefully another 224 years. We're a parliamentary library, one established when President John Adams approved legislation for the purchase of, quote, such books as may be necessary for the use of Congress. A few years later, Thomas Jefferson increased the size and scope of the collections and the approach, believing that the American legislature needed ideas and information on all subjects in many languages in order to govern in a democracy. There was, he argued, and I quote, no subject to which a member of Congress may not have occasion to refer. Thirdly, we're a research library, one of the world's preeminent research campuses for researchers and lifelong learners, traditional, emerging, and potential, national and international. And we are, in Dr. Carla Hayden's, the Librarian of Congress's marvelous strategic aspiration, a library for all, a place that welcomes users of every persuasion and background, from Morgan Freeman and Lizzo to high school students, from congressional members to journalists, authors, musicians, and creators of all kinds, from researchers and genealogists working on every topic under the sun, to foreign dignitaries, ambassadors, and all from 6 continents. So given the richness of the collections and our mission to connect them to users, we want everyone to know that your story is here too. That the door is always open and a warm welcome ready for those from all walks of life who are curious to explore their history and heritage. In today's exhibition, which hopefully you'll get to later on this afternoon, of the library's Indonesian collections, you will see some of the first Asian language items to enter the library's collections. Malay manuscripts and 19th century letters from rulers from the first British resident of Singapore were acquired by the United States Exploring Expedition in 1842 and made their way to the library in 1866. These rare Indonesian collection items speak to this long connection between the Library of Congress and Indonesia. The link is also evident in the library's role in bringing Indonesian material of great variety: books, maps, serials, printed materials, sound recordings, legal gazettes, and others, to the United States, to the library, from the library's Jakarta field office. This office, whose staff is mainly made up of Indonesians, is responsible for not only collecting and cataloging Indonesian titles for the library, but for many academic institutions in the US through the library's Cooperative Acquisitions Program for Southeast Asia, which in turn has shaped the study of Indonesia, certainly in this country, for several decades. And the library's Indonesian collection is a source and a resource for the American public and researchers from Indonesia and the rest of the world, as evidenced by the frequent research and reference inquiries we get on this very topic from professors, students, the general public, that our Southeast Asia reference librarians field all the time, and also by the visits from Indonesian dignitaries and guests, including most recently the Ambassador and Chief Justice. Which brings me back to today's guests of honor, Sade and Sarah. Thank you again for being with us. We're delighted you're here to participate in this celebration, and so I'm going to hand off now, and if you would please join me in welcoming the Charge d'Affaires of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Flanagan, Ms. Sarah Matthews, and all distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends of Indonesia. I see a number of familiar faces here around the room, so I'm really happy to be standing here, and thanks so much for hosting us here, Library of Congress. I just would like to start my remarks by telling you a short story. It was 1949, and Indonesia, of course, we declared our independence in 1945, but the period 1945 to 1949, the Dutch, who were our colonizer, they sent troops to Indonesia to recolonize Indonesia, right? And I was talking with Ambassador David Merrill, and he shared me this one piece of story saying that Dean Acheson, the Secretary of State in 1949, he was working on the Marshall Plan, rebuilding Europe, right? And I'm reminded by this, of course, because tomorrow is June 6th, and 80 years of the D-Day invasion of Europe to liberate Europe. And as we remember and pay tribute to all the heroes, the fallen heroes from the US and throughout the world, we are also remembered that in that period, Indonesia was also liberated, right? Indonesia was also liberated. So in 1949, Dean Acheson was, helping with the Marshall Plan, and then the component for the Dutch rebuilding would have cost $300 million. $300 million, right? And the cost that the Dutch was having to bear to reoccupy Indonesia, sending troops, having the ships and arms and equipments and others, was $300 million. And so it was a big thing here on the Hill, administration and also the media, the public here, a lot of pressure to the president back in the day and also to the Secretary of State saying, why are you spending 300 million to a country that we have just liberated and now wanting to recolonize another country? And secondly, of course, we have to do the right thing, right? And so Secretary of State Eckerson talked to his counterpart, the Netherlands, saying that, hey, if you do not cease and desist, go back from Indonesia, do not recolonize, we will not have a Marshall Plan for you. And so there was no choice. And then, they stopped their invasion of Indonesia. They then had a diplomatic relationship with Indonesia, the United States also in 1949, December 1949. And here we are, 75 years later, an independent country, and sitting here in this beautiful Library of Congress. Thank you so much. It is my great honor, of course, to stand before you today to celebrate our 75 years anniversary. And on behalf of the government of the Republic of Indonesia, would like to convey our deep appreciation to the Library of Congress, State Department, and all of our friends here in the U.S. And this serves, I think, as a testament to the enduring friendship that Indonesia and the U.S. has over the years. And I think the roots of our relationship goes beyond 1949. I think it was in 1901 that the U.S. first opened your consular office in Batavia. There's also a town here in the U.S. somewhere in Georgia, is it? Batavia. It's called Batavia as well, somewhere. Now, back in 1893 at the World Expo, Indonesia sent a delegation of a Javanese village, I think it was, and it became one of the most popular attractions that featured an authentic Javanese village here in the US, complete with traditional homes from wood brought from the archipelago, and also a small mosque. And back then also we brought an ensemble of gamelan, Javanese music, gamelan. Now, these early connections have contributed to building contact and understanding between the people, and played an important part to the deep and multifaceted relationship we enjoy today. And one of the most profound aspects of the Indonesia-US relationship is our shared commitment to the principles of diversity and democracy. And there's another story here, 98, 97, we, made a social compact among ourselves when we said to ourselves, we will embrace democracy and get rid of corruption, collusion, and nepotism. And that has been our vision and our goal. And we look up to the United States, of course, for diversity and democracy and those ideals. In fact, back in 1945, I remember seeing a picture of a tram in Indonesia saying that all men are created equal, straight from your constitution, right? And even our motto, it's called Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which exactly means E Pluribus Unum. E Pluribus Unum. Now, these principles guide our societies and underline the strength that comes from embracing diversity and fostering inclusivity. And as the third largest democracy, Indonesia has also been actively promoting the principle of democracy, which emphasizes the importance of governance by the people and for the people, and that we share this dedication to democratic values not only to strengthen our bilateral relations, but also sets an example for the global community. And I'm trying to remember the 4 things that former Congresswoman Liz Cheney said in the graduation commencement of my son yesterday. Is to do with democratic values and democratic ideals. One was, do not be a bystander, right? If you see something wrong, something that is not right, you have to speak up. And second, I forgot the second, third, and fourth. Only the first one that I remember. When I do remember, I will share it with you. But I'm sure there's a video in the YouTube somewhere of Liz Cheney talking about that. Now, as we look at the present state of Indonesia-US relations, we see a dynamic and thriving partnership across multiple dimensions. And last November, our President Joko Widodo was here and met with President Biden, and we elevated our partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership. And that underscored our shared commitment to enhancing cooperation across many fields. And we've seen from many metrics that our cooperation has increased trade, investment, tourism, and also people-to-people, and academic, and others. And I think these numbers reflect the strong economic, cultural, and people-to-people ties between our two nations. As we embark on this commemorative journey together, let us seize this moment to renew our commitment to the values of mutual respect and cooperation that have guided our relationship for the past 75 years and even more. And our shared history, common values, and multifaceted cooperation provide a strong foundation for the next 75 years and even more, right? And thank you for joining us in this celebration. I'm looking forward to exploring the many Indonesian collection during our next program. Again, thank you so much, and I would like to invite Ms. Sarah Waras to give your remarks.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much to the Embassy of Indonesia and to the Library of Congress for co-hosting today's lovely event. To our charge, to Eugene, to Joshua, thank you all for your insightful remarks. The Indonesia collection here at the library and this event provides an excellent backdrop for us to highlight the depth and breadth of the excellent ties that we enjoy between the United States and Indonesia. On behalf of the State Department and the Bureau of East Asia and Pacific Affairs, it's an honor to be here with our Indonesian partners to celebrate this momentous occasion. We are so glad to continue to celebrate this, the relationship and the 75th anniversary through cultural and educational and social ties. It's a momentous occasion, and we're celebrating really all year long. We were delighted to co-host the anniversary launch a few months ago at the At America space in Jakarta, one of our world's premier American spaces. We are delighted to be continuing on that collaboration with batik design contests, see lots of examples of batik here today, and through photography, through other initiatives in the education, cultural, and academic space. As we build towards that December 28th anniversary and marking the occasion, already referenced, of when our US Ambassador H. Murrell Cochran presented his credentials to the President of Indonesia. This is not just a commemoration of ties between the world's largest democracies, two of them, but it's also a celebration of those shared values that the Charge referenced: democracy, diversity, and prosperity. Indonesia and the United States have weaved a long history together. We not only enjoy the batik beauty and the weaving and the decor, but we also celebrate the ways in which that connection between our people helps to foster ties that stand the test of time. The United States was one of the first countries to recognize Indonesia's independence from the Netherlands, and we've built a rich legacy of partnership ever since. Our relationship has steadily grown in the political, economic, and cultural and social spaces over those decades, and we've progressed from the comprehensive partnership that we previously enjoyed in 2010 to the most recent announcement of that upgrade, and the Charge mentioned, to the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, or CSP as we call it, which was launched by our two presidents at the White House this fall. Under the new CSP framework, we are expanding cooperation on issues that matter most to our citizens in ways that benefit all of us. Things like economic ties, combating climate change, strengthening security cooperation, bolstering people-to-people ties. These are the things that matter to all of us. A lot of the challenges that we'll face in the future transcend boundaries. They transcend oceans, they transcend borders, and we need our people working together to help confront them together. The CSP significantly boosts the level of ambition in our relationship across energy and maritime issues, defense, global and regional issues, people-to-people and academic contacts, the digital economy, global health, and building a sustainable future for all of our citizens. In my office, which focuses on promoting ties between the people of East Asia and the Pacific region and our friends here in the United States, we are committed to building those connections with Indonesians and Americans so that we can better understand one another when we are working together around the world. We've seen how those connections create a strong foundation of friendship upon which all our governments can grow as partners so that together we can shape a positive future for both of our nations. It's an exciting time because the future of the relationship is so bright. The number of Indonesians traveling and studying in the United States is increasing exponentially. Georgetown University announced a new public policy program in Jakarta just last year. We see other US universities expressing interest in establishing a formal presence in Indonesia. This presents ample opportunities for future cooperation. Our new memorandum of understanding between the Smithsonian, another US government partner like the Library of Congress that promotes education and cultural and scientific ties, with the Ministry of Culture in Indonesia, presents an opportunity to expand that bilateral relationship and cooperation in the area of exchanges and culture even more. And there's more to come. As we're here at the Library of Congress, this beautiful setting with a collection to enjoy in just a few moments, I want to reiterate the State Department's commitment to helping make sure that we work hand in hand with Indonesia to tackle the emerging challenges that we will all face in the 21st century. We owe it to our future selves, to our children, and to our families to better deliver on those commitments to our future generations. I can't wait to see what we and our governments and our people can do together in the coming 75 years. On a personal note, I want to thank the Embassy of Indonesia for bringing all of the culture and food and batik and all of the things that you're bringing to not only today's performance, but today's celebration. My aunt was from Indonesia, and I enjoyed very much her food and the culture that she brought into my own family and value it very much as on a personal level as well as in a government capacity. So once again, thank you for inviting me today. I look forward to seeing the exhibition and the cultural performance and look forward to working together over the years to come. Thank you again.
Thank you, Director Sarah Matthews. Thank you, Chargé d'Affaires, Sadina Mantara. So for the next part of our program today, we have a cultural performance by Claire Wolfowitz and Arna Santi Widyastuti of the Santi Budaya Group. They will be performing a Javanese dance called Golek Sri Rejeki.